Okay, so I know I'm being heard. Sit back, put this on cake, and then I edit that for that. All right, so we getting to it. I ain't gonna be on here long because I got shit to do today. I'm in here editing videos. I done created a fucking opening for the thing, and I am gonna run with long winded on the podcast. Plus, I just came back from Paducah, shot the show with the homie up there, shot an episode with him in Paducah. But I was in the midst of doing all my research. I came across a young lady on TikTok. I'm gonna shout her out real quick in the on the thing. Nissan is finally getting it together. I don't want to do it. Hold on. Her her name is at sy bab salutely. Uh, SYB absolutely. That's what I guess. So like Sib absolutely, at Sib absolutely. I'll show y'all. This is what her thing is at on there. If y'all want to go check it out yourself, that's following. But anyways, I don't know how I came across a page, but I came across a page. You know what I'm saying? This is going to be a series that I touch on a couple times. You know what I'm saying? This is going to be a part one of it. Uh, you know what I'm saying? I truly feel like through the things that I've been taught, you know what I'm saying? Like I said again about Dr. Monk, Dr. Billy Monk, you know what I'm saying? She put me on this path of, educating and all the things that I've done. And this is a, older white woman, you know what I'm saying? She was real heavy in the Catholic Church, helping a lot of people. I do an episode about her one day, Billy Monk, because she was somebody. And she helped a lot of us down there at the community college to, just if you was somebody trying to do something, she, she would lace you. Like it's mind blowing how the history that some people hold. They have picks and chooses on who they want to tell it to. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's why I know the things that I know because of people like Billy Monk and people like Doug Jones or Frank Ritter and all these different teachers that I had in college. Man, they was blowing my mind with the things that they was teaching me, and it wasn't no, it was black and white, but it was more so of they was giving me gems like lost history, like things that is not televised. So, you know, that's what pushed me to the point of doubting the slave whole concept. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, true enough, we were enslaved, but the history of it, how they say they took us from another country and all that, because I've always, my skin is a copper color. It's like a reddish color. Like my ancestors, my aunties, my auntie Tyann, you know what I'm saying, and my uncles and all them, you know what I'm saying, they all look Indian. You know what I'm saying? They like they had jerry curls and they didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like they all look like that. And then when I was in college, I learned about the Indian Removal Act, you know what I'm saying, the tribes being broken down, you know what I'm saying. I learned about the Christian churches passing out blankets with smallpox. I learned about the bleaching of statues and everything, and this is serious shit. I've seen I know a person today with a real life a bleached Indian head, and they hold on to it like an heirloom. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because I know these things and I learned it from a old white lady. You know what I'm saying? I know that the history is taken from one. You know what I'm saying? I just can't help but feel that. I've never associated it. I lose train of thought on that shit sometimes, man, because I get so consumed when I that's why I didn't want to really speak on the Indian head, but I'm saying I know real people with these things in real life. I know that this exists. I know about the Indian Removal Act. I know about the tribes being broken down. I know about the Indians being switched from being called Indians to, indigenous, from indigenous to Negroes. You know what I'm saying? I learned this, you know what I'm saying, in history. This is in their books. That's why I titled this History or His Story, because it's a lady that I'm gonna share a link to. I'm gonna do a brief switch around to the video of what I got going from this lady. But I found this page. She calls herself Chief, and I know of the history that she's speaking of, and I don't even know her. You know what I'm saying? I know this from that old lady that had me at college learning about this shit. You know what I'm saying? She was teaching me about this shit. She was teaching me that they took the identity. I don't care what nobody say. They took our identity. They took our identity. You know what I'm saying? I know about the wars. I'm gonna do more research to find out about the First World War. You know what I'm saying? Where it was 7 countries that bombed America for 283 years. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever was over here would no longer exist for 283 years. You know what I'm saying? I seen the books that Putin opened up with the black looking figures in there, and I think that that's kind of cap. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So don't nobody hold me to it. But I'm just saying, I don't believe you look at my skin and you look at the person that comes from Africa or Nigeria or one of those guys. We don't look alike at all. We don't look alike at all. I know that alcohol is what they used to kill the Indians. I learned this in college. And I got a bunch of alcoholics in my family. I got a bunch of alcoholics. Alcohol is huge. My auntie died of cirrhosis. You know what I'm saying? Like it's huge. You know what I'm saying? It's huge. My father used to drink a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody drinks. My cousins drink. Everybody. Alcohol is crazy in my family. If any of my family members catch this, y'all will know it's crazy in our family. But I know why. This is the things that further push me to believe that we are of Indian descent. You know what I'm saying? Like indigenous, and it's because it's so convenient for us to believe this lie, because we taught this lie, we taught this division from a young age. We taught this story of a black person being beaten into submission by a white person because they know what's best for us, or whatever the case may be. We taught these narratives because they try to sell us this fake story. Because if we buy into this fake story, we're gonna instantly have a hate for the other culture. We not even gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like they set a play for it to run itself. You know what I'm saying? It's like a flea flicker. You got somebody looking over here while you're over there. You know, I know I learned about the proletariat and the bourgeoisie. I learned what Darwin's evolution was, to divide the poor, blacks and whites, because they'll overrun us. You know what I'm saying? Like people think that it was different. This is what I learned in college. So I know that it was an agenda that was designed. You, I was taught this when they divided the poor, blacks and whites, how they was able to divide us like Indians and stuff over here, whatever this category was they gave us when they divided us, because I know a lot of Cherokee Indians was of fair complexion, was of light complexion. And at that time, like from the lessons I've learned, which is, and this was in college, this was in like 2013, 2014 and stuff, prior to, me coming back home and all that stuff or whatever. So I'm saying, I'm gonna start trying to make a conscious habit of getting on her trying to find this information. But I know that a lot of Cherokee Indians were of fair complexion. You know what I'm saying? Which I know that most of the tribes that broke down was of fair complexion. It was a few that lasted. And seeing this lady on this podcast that she's talking about on YouTube, say that she couldn't, like from her ancestors and what she speak, that they couldn't tell the difference between a white man and a Cherokee Indian, blows my mind. Because I know we wasn't white and black. They put us in this box to bicker with each other, to blind us with the plays that go on around us. They took the history from all of us, because the truth is, if you're white and you're from Britain, when you come to the US, you're British, or you're Canadian, or you're Norwegian, or Ukrainian, or whatever. But if you white and you here, you just white. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different. You know what I'm saying? Not to venture off in it, but I'm just saying, on real shit, we black. We don't. What is black? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is that shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, that was a substitute for Negro. You know, people don't do the history. It's so easy to believe what you was taught, because that's what you was taught. People like this, at the end of the day, she's in a house full of pictures. I'm gonna show y'all. And just give y'all. I'm gonna play it, but I'm gonna put links to her stuff, because I don't want to steal credit from what nobody's doing. I want y'all to go on there and watch it. I'm not gonna play none of it. I mean, I might play a little bit just so y'all can hear it, but this is her. True Indian. Just look at her peoples and stuff in the background. This is what my aunties look like. This lady look like one of my aunties. I swear to God to you, my auntie Delita right now. This lady look like my auntie Delita. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it just blows my mind how some of these people come out and they have information that, and even the white guy in there, his name is and her name is Chief, and the guy, his name is Tom Ackland. They call her Chief. I looked up for to try to find her name. This is the channel, Cookin with Chief, serving up history, all about the green with Tom Ackland. That's the guy, part one. And you can see this is all fairly, new, and it started out as a radio station. I truly feel like these people will be able to shine a lot of light on situations, because I heard briefly Tom talking about a museum, and how, at one point in time, people of color wasn't allowed in museums. And then back to this Indian head. I'm cleaning up one day and helping this person move some things, and I discover a Indian head in a bag, in a little tote, a little clear tote. And around the edges of the head, you could still see it was like my color, like this, but the rest of the Indian was bleached. You could tell that. And the significance that, what made me think about this Indian head was the history that, was taught to me, of the bleaching of the figures in the museums, the cutting off of the noses on the statues to disfigure them, the cutting off of the lips and all this stuff to make them look like this, to say, oh, that's a monkey or that's a gorilla. Like the biggest thing to me is, Buddha. You see a lot of the people don't understand what them circles are in Buddha's heads. Most of the Chinese guys that, or Japan, I don't know, I think it's Chinese, whatever, but that got those Buddha, what the fuck? The goddamn light just went out. Hold on. What the fuck? Oh man, don't tell me. And it's so hot. Why is it so hot? Hold up, that's an intermission. Damn, that's like that shit was catching fire or something. I think it might have been the wrong type of plug. Is this one hot? Yes. Yes, it is. I have to get another plug for those. Or I'm gonna have to get some different lights. Yeah. Okay. So we're back. Goddamn. Distracted. But yeah, man. So, goddamn, I don't know where I was at. I forgot. Shit. I'm just saying. The history. The history, dog. Damn, that damn light went out and threw my damn train of thought off. That's why I need to get this together. But it's just like I said, I ain't even worried about it. This is gonna be part one of it. Everything that I do is gonna go up there, so you can see the process. You can see that, shit. I was normal with it. You know what I'm saying? And I promise you, I'm gonna. When as things progress, I start to clean up the channel and move things out. But I just want everybody to be a part of the journey because I don't know what I'm doing with this shit, bro. I'm gonna be 100. I'm up front. I'm just filming shit, doing shit. But nonetheless, this lady is dropping knowledge. I truly believe that. Yeah, that's what I was at. I was at the way that these people held on to this bleached Indian head, and the bleached Indian head looked like those old school Barbie dolls that your sister may have had. It looked like a head with the hair, and she could just like do the hair. It's almost like like a head, and then the shoulders, and you know what I'm saying. To have the hair, your sister would be able to do the hair on the doll and shit like that. But that's what it was. And I swear to you, bro, I can't make this up. Like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't take no pictures of it. I ain't want to violate nobody's privacy and all that stuff or whatever. But they still got it. They still got it. Bleached, a bleached Indian head, and it's still copper around the whatever color the Indian was copper around the outside. And this was something that their mother had. You know what I'm saying? This was something that their mother had. So this was something that was passed down, and the emphasis on making sure, like I'm talking about, bro. I swear to you, motherfucker had like 4 or 5 totes of shit, and they only called to ask about that. Like you can't make this shit up. You know what I'm saying? You can't make this up, and that's why I stress all the time that uneducated and prejudiced they brother and sister, because how can you try to cover that up? Like people wanting to know who they are, people wanting to know their identity. I mean, you ain't got. I don't care. I could care less. I know that this is what I learned from Miss Monk. When they came to America, we had the lands, they had the Bibles. When they left America, we had the Bibles, they had our land. It is what it is. That's what I was taught. I don't care what nobody say to me, because at the end of the day, we still holding on to those books. So I just stress the way that I stress about things, because what that person that had that Indian head don't know. And I pray you see this episode and you understand why I put the stress on the Indian head that I did, because now you will see that that's why people like them carry that type of prejudice with y'all, because y'all know y'all stole somebody's identity. Y'all know y'all stole people's whole history, and it's some truth to it that we don't know about. You the one going around with a bleached Indian head, you know what I'm saying? Because y'all know what the history is. Y'all know that this slave shit is what's being sold to us, and that's why we accept the oppression. That's why we accept being 5th and 6th place and 7th, 8th place and Section 8 subsidized housing and brand down apartments. That's why we buy used cars. We appreciate the things that the next man then ran down and all that. Like, we accept this huge oppression, bro. Like, I swear to you, it's crazy how we just feel like it's okay to be put through the ringer just because of the color of your skin. Like, you ain't did nothing. You could be a hell of a person, but you gonna get ran through the ringer just because of the color of your skin. You gonna, yeah, well, y'all can go through this way, but you gotta go this way. And it's on both sides. It's the same way with, like, white boy Brian and them that grew up around us up, white boy Mike that grew up east and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can ask them. It was different, but it wasn't like what people think it was. It wasn't like it was for that black kid growing up in that all white neighborhood. Mike and Sarah that grew up east. Everybody fuck with Mike and Sarah. It wasn't never no prejudice shit or people showing up trying to jump Mike and Sarah or get them out of here. No, it wasn't none of that, bro. Like, we love like a mug. When you see a black person catching a Holy Ghost at the church, you can't tell me that it don't look like an Indian when they doing the war cries, the jumping around. When you look at all of these things, you see the similarities, but yet people require you to provide so much proof that what somebody else done told you ain't true. How do we even know that this shit that they putting in books is true? Where did the proof come from? Where did the Bibles and the revised edition, the editions, the Gideon version, the this versions and all this, like, how do we know that this shit is true? It's because people choose to believe the face that they do. But when somebody don't believe, you want somebody to give you a ton of proof of why they don't believe. Like, nah, I don't believe because the way we get done, the way that we get treated, just like, you can't tell me out of 20 people that we done lined up, I can do the same thing, if not better, but I don't get the same opportunities. And why I don't get the same opportunities? Oh, because, well, your mother and your father, it's laws set in place to act off of these lies. They taught, and you can't tell me that they won't lie to you. They taught in history books. I learned in school, in middle school, and in elementary school, and high school, Christopher Columbus discovered America. How can you discover something when people was already the fuck over here? How did you discover something when people was already living here? But you hear a person talk about that, you don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it. Nah, that's the truth. Because how the hell can some people get the gall to do some things like Ancestry.com to find out your family and where you come from and your roots, but you be mad at people from trying to find out what happened to the Indians and find out our indigenous roots, because when we look at our family tree and we got pictures of our great grandfathers and grandfathers, we see white German dudes with old Indian women. I ain't buffering. I'll pause for a minute because that's my goddamn family. That's my history. A German dude with an Indian woman. That was my grandmother. A white German dude in his fit. Man, I swear I wish I want one of my relatives to look this shit up. Briggs. We Briggs. The Briggs and Shirley Briggs, Putty Briggs, and all of them. She was married to a German white man, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? Grandma Putty. I never met him and shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know Putty's mama, but I know Putty's grandfather was a white man. You know what I'm saying? And Putty is my mama's mama's mama. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at the name. Putty. Putty. I can't make this shit up. But I feel like people say, "Oh, Mariah, why would somebody do that? Why would people do like look at the way that the world is ran. Like, look at how people of color, melanated people, how we can't hold a dollar. We buy. They everything is tailored towards us, and so much is taken from us, credit, swag, and everything, and so on and so forth. You can't tell me that people don't know this. When I learned about the Harlem Renaissance, whatever I learned about that, if whatever's true from that, what it made it seem like was that everybody felt like they hit the lottery. People was buying big hats and shoes and suits, and everybody was all about being fly and things. But how do we know that that's true? Because when I was in college, college is not a choice. College is a choice. It's not forced like going to high school or going to elementary school or going to middle school. Those are things that you gotta do. They don't make you go to college. That's a choice. So the information that you get at college is going to be totally different, because it can come from points of, I'm saying, you can't have a teacher sitting there at no school and she telling lies. I'm saying Miss Monk, where we was at, she was prestigious. She had doctors. I'm saying Dr. Khan is still on a society right now. And I'm telling you, when she came to the class, she was telling us she was on food stamps. I can't make this up. They benefit off of us doing this black and white shit. Why you think people like Fred Hampton got killed when they try to unify blacks and whites? You can scream at Black Panther shit all day, and you could do all that all day, but when you start to try to unify people, they gonna get you up through her. I don't give a fuck. I mean that. Because that's our problem, bro. That's how they was able to steal our history. That's how they was able to pull this bullshit. And who is the they? The people who you can't talk about. The people who you can't say shit about. It shows you who the control is. It shows you the people in power. It shows you the people who was able to come from wherever they came from and do what they did. We don't know none of these stories to be true. Kanye in all black with the Hitler shit. I swear, bro, I read the books and everything. Like, how do we know that that's what it is? How do we know that that's what it is? You think that if it was a brown person or a person of color that almost conquered the world and almost took over all these places and was this powerful, you think they're going to tell you that in the books? No. They're going to tell you he was some racist, prejudiced white guy. They're not going to say he was a black man and that represented whatever it was of people trying to erase whatever it was, because I'm saying you don't know. We don't know. We don't know. But yet at the end of the day, we believed in everything that the history said. They said that Hitler was this person and Nazis was this and all of this, and it proved through history and genocide, and they tried the Holocaust and all this. They said all that. But I'm saying in all actuality, what proof did they give? Survivors and victims. You got survivors and victims that was put on reservations. You could look into histories and see how when they did put all these Indians and stuff on reservations, they were still being hunted by people on the outskirts of the reservations if they try to go to stores and things, man. We don't know history or his story. It's on us as people to do our own research. And I'm telling you, it ain't nothing nobody can say to me. It ain't nothing that nobody can make me believe that makes me I'm not gonna ever teach none of my kids or my family that we come from change. We didn't come from no change. That's how they oppress us. They want us to believe that we came from change. They want us to believe that we was beaten, sold on markets. They don't want us to believe that we was tricked. You was swindled. Y'all didn't know no better at the time what we was doing. We was being nice to y'all. Yeah, and we gave y'all some shit called alcohol. And y'all started drinking the fuck out of that shit. Yeah, then we gave y'all smallpox and diseases. And yeah, we confused y'all like a motherfucker. Then, we started a war with y'all. We burned up everything, every scroll, every church, everything that existed. Yeah, and then we started pushing this stuff saying that, yeah, y'all came over here on a boat. Y'all wasn't already here. Christopher Columbus discovered this. Y'all came over on a boat afterwards, and we put y'all to work. Y'all was forced into work. Yeah, that's what happened. Like, nah, bruh. It's too convenient for life to be how it is today. If that's the truth, it's too convenient for the next motherfucker, not us. I need to work on my language because I know people may not look at too much on my shit when the way I talk. I don't give a fuck though. I'm being real because it's probably one of them people that I may offend, but I am going to try to change it in the sense of hoping that I get through to some people to start to try to unify. Because I'm telling you, if you have a prejudice bone in your body, you calling black people this or talking about white people that, then yes, it's because you ignorant. Yeah, I said ignorant, however you want to say it. We can swing words all day, but uneducatedness is your brother, is your sister, is your loved one. Y'all right hand in hand because you can't be prejudiced and educated, because when you find out about things, it's impossible for you to have that same view like as a person. If it is, you just an asshole. You just choosing to, well, that's what I was taught and I'm gonna stick with it. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Your family tree will never evolve. It'll be just a bunch of ignorant and prejudiced and uneducated people. But if you become educated, it's impossible for you to be prejudiced because you become educated on different things. You know things like science, the reason why a person with a calcified pineal gland, why their hair grows up, and why a person that has, melanin, their hair grows down, why some people with African kind of features, Asiatic male features, should I say, Why they got bigger noses and bigger lips? Because they come from tropical climates. The people with narrow noses and smaller lips come from colder climates. These are scientific factors that play the number one role in whether your species lived or survived in a climate. Fuck what somebody put in a book. If you was a African with a big old nose from Norway or Norwegian or something, you wouldn't have no family. Would your offspring be dead, bruh? With these big ass noses breathing in all that cold air with this hair growing up and your neck exposed in all them cold temperatures, bruh. Like, yes, your family tree would not exist too long. But if you have a small nose, smaller lips, you don't breathe in so much. Your hair grows down, covers your neck. The winters you can survive. You in that hot ass climate. Imagine what happens when what happens when you see people like that from these cold places where their hair grows down. When they in these hot ass climates, what do you see? You see them sweating like a motherfucker. You see them sweating. You see them sweating, trying to put their hair up in a bun, in a ponytail. The Australians and all that, running around with their hair in a bun and all this. You know what I'm saying? Skin start to peeling and getting red and stuff. All that. You know what I'm saying? In the sun. I got it too. Like real shit. Ask my baby when we went to Florida. I swear, I jumped in when we jumped in the ocean. I was telling baby, I put some shit on her, sunscreen and shit on her, and I jumped in the ocean and I started peeling. So I see the ancestry in me. You know what I'm saying? Me with the German guy and all that and the history and things. You know what I'm saying? I know with my attitude and shit. So I'm just saying, like, shit, I was peeling jumping in there. And you see, I'm melanated. And I'm telling you, I was peeling when I jumped in the ocean. You know what I'm saying? Like, that sun, you African, dark like that and shit, but that's just what it is, not to get off track. Anyways, I'm just saying, they get hot in those climates. Those are scientific facts, and that's why we are the way that we are, because of on the side of the equator that your ancestry is from, is what represents your color. It wasn't about a white or black. It wasn't about none of that, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't about that. It became about that when other countries developed rate systems and statuses. When they develop rate systems and statuses, you know what I'm saying? That's when it became about a color. But I've been going long enough on this part one. I just wanted to get y'all started on this, and I'm going to come back and touch again one day on part two of this. I got another video from the interview that I just chopped up with the homie. You know what I'm saying? We was just outside chopping it up, you know what I'm saying, up in Paducah, where he has some few things he just wanted to talk about, being desensitized in penitentiaries and stuff, like the system and things. And as I was just playing the video back, looking at my language on there, I do need to clean up my language because I was saying nigga a whole lot and fuck, and that's just the normals that we didn't be came around and things and shit. It is what it is. I'm gonna work on it, but I'm just giving everybody the gist of it as I do it, bro. Cause I ain't got nothing to sugarcoat or nothing to hide. I ain't trying to be nothing other than who I am. I feel like I'm somebody. I want to educate people on the shit that we don't know. You know what I'm saying? I want to help break the generational curses of not knowing, not being educated about who we are, bro. Because I don't believe we came from change. I believe that Kanye is very sane. I believe something happened to that man, and people think that shit's funny. Well, I know a guy in real life that happened to. Anybody from Louisville, y'all know Smurf. Everybody knows Smurf. Man, that man used to be in there playing with chicken bones and shit, man. And he was somebody. Somebody slipped him a bad pill or something when he was doing what he did, and that man ain't never been the same since. I'm telling y'all, man, the man was in there playing with chicken bones and sewing matches in jackets and stuff for no reason and everything, bro. Like, when I tell y'all, yes, it's some stuff out there, bro, that I've never heard of or never seen myself, but I know that people can be fucked up. So, lock in on this video. I'm going to post this straight to YouTube. I'm going to put, again, I just want to stress this to y'all one more time. Go to this lady. Go on this channel and listen to some of her stuff. Cooking with Chief. You know what I'm saying? Go on there and listen to some of the stuff that she's saying, man. Develop an opinion, dog, because she's talking about something and it might not be around for long. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's something, man, like real shit, bro. And he's giving information out. You know what I'm saying? So soak it up, man. I'm kind of tired off his jet lag from Paducah shit, but I appreciate y'all for tuning in, man.